Everyone has probably heard the phrase, "You don't mess with God," but there are always those bold enough to ignore it. Today we're diving into the stories of some well-known individuals who mocked the Almighty and appeared to face immediate repercussions, many of them fatal or life-altering. Hey there, before we dive in, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Day McCarthy gained notoriety in Brazil after making hateful and racist comments about the young daughter of Bruno Galeasso, a renowned Brazilian actor. She faced an avalanche of criticism for her actions, but in the year 2017, she decided to stir up more controversy. This time she read a passage from the Bible, specifically Psalm 91. Initially, nothing seemed out of place, right? But what followed shocked everyone. After reading the sacred scripture, she set the holy book on fire and insulted evangelical Christians, calling them trash. The internet exploded with outrage, with many accusing her of pulling another outrageous stunt to stay in the spotlight. However, what happened next led some to believe divine justice was at work. Shortly after the incident, Day McCarthy announced that she had been diagnosed with a brain tumor. Fortunately, or perhaps divinely, additional tests later revealed it was a false alarm. Was this a warning sign from above to rethink her actions? Since then, Day has remained silent on the subject of Christianity and has refrained from mocking the Bible or its followers. In the year 2023, American comedian Heather McDonald was performing a stand-up routine when she decided to joke about COVID. She spent several minutes mocking the vaccine and ended her set with a bold statement. But then, something incredible happened. Right after delivering that line, Heather collapsed on stage, fainting in front of her stunned audience. Thankfully, her condition wasn't serious, and she later posted a lighthearted video from the emergency room. However, the timing of her collapse immediately after making that joke led many to interpret it as divine intervention. Whether or not Heather dared to mock God again remains unknown. Brandon Robertson, a young man who identifies as both a pastor and openly gay, has become a polarizing figure in modern religious circles. Known for his controversial statements, one of his most divisive claims was that the divine spirit inspiring Jesus Christ was the same one that inspired Siddhartha Gautama, known as Buddha, and Muhammad, the primary prophet of Islam. In one sweeping comment, Robertson managed to upset adherents of three of the world's largest religions. Additionally, he once stated that Jesus was racist, a remark that left many questioning his authenticity as a spiritual leader. During one sermon, Robertson proclaimed, but at that exact moment, a lightning strike hit near the venue, causing a sudden power outage and silencing his microphone. When the emergency lights came back on, Robertson appeared visibly shaken. Although he dismissed the event as mere coincidence, many Christians were convinced it was a sign of God's judgment. In the year 2020, two heavyweight boxing legends, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, faced off in a highly anticipated match. Before the fight, the two athletes sat down for a face-to-face interview. During their conversation, Wilder openly declared that he did not believe in God, which visibly unsettled Fury, a devout Christian. The exchange grew heated as Wilder made bold, confrontational remarks, prompting backlash from fans who felt his comments were disrespectful. When the fight began, many expected Wilder, the favorite, to dominate. But to everyone's surprise, Tyson Fury emerged victorious, knocking out Wilder in a dramatic turn of events. Social media lit up with comments suggesting divine justice had been served. At the Brit Awards in 2015, Madonna delivered a theatrical performance dressed as a matador, surrounded by dancers wearing bull horns. However, as she began to sing, she suffered a dramatic fall on stage. Many interpreted this as divine retribution, citing Madonna's history of provocative behavior often condemned by religious communities. Some even claimed the dancer's costume symbolized demons, leading to her downfall. Similarly, Lady Gaga faced her own controversy. In 2011, she released a song titled Judas, which included lyrics such as, "Jesus is my virtue, but Judas is the demon I cling to." To heighten the provocation, the song was released during Easter. During one live performance, at the exact moment she sang that line, part of the stage equipment malfunctioned and struck her on the head. Was it pure coincidence or something more profound? Mike Tyson is undoubtedly one of the greatest boxers to ever step into the ring. He dominated the sport during the 1980s, setting a record with an impressive streak of 37 consecutive victories. But it seems that the fame and glory might have gone to his head a bit. In one infamous interview, Tyson claimed that when he entered the ring, he felt like God himself. Naturally, this sparked plenty of controversy at the time. Here's what he said. Many saw this statement as blasphemous, and what followed seemed like divine retribution to some. Tyson's marriage ended after about a year, and shortly after his divorce, the undefeated champ was shockingly knocked out by Buster Douglas. That fight remains one of the most inexplicable upsets in boxing history. How could the world champion lose to someone who was practically unknown? The Beatles were the most successful musical phenomenon of the 1960s, revolutionizing the industry in countless ways. The legendary group consisted of 4 Englishmen: Ringo Starr, George Harrison, Paul McCartney, and, of course, John Lennon. While all the Beatles made waves, Lennon dove deep into the hippie movement and explored spirituality and Asian religions. But his most controversial moment came in 1966 when he famously declared, "Christianity will go, it will vanish and shrink. I don't need to argue about that. I'm right, and time will prove me right. We, the Beatles, are more popular than Jesus now." This statement was widely viewed as arrogant and offensive. The backlash was immediate, and it marked the beginning of turbulent times for Lennon. Not long after, the Beatles faced internal disputes that led to their breakup in 1969. And in 1980, Lennon was tragically shot and killed by an obsessed fan, an event that some connected back to his provocative remarks about Christianity. Former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez was no stranger to controversy, especially when it came to his statements about the Catholic Church. He often made remarks that religious leaders worldwide condemned as blasphemous. Chavez once claimed that the image of Jesus preached by priests and bishops was false, arguing instead that Christ was a true socialist leader. Many of his other comments attempted to align Jesus' teachings with socialism, which many Christians viewed as a deliberate manipulation of their faith. Adding to the tension, Chavez banned a private religious TV channel from broadcasting mass in Venezuela, even though he often used Christianity in his own political speeches. For these reasons, many devout believers saw Chavez's rapid health decline as divine punishment. Diagnosed with cancer in 2011, he passed away in 2013, despite receiving treatment from top Cuban doctors. Marilyn Monroe was an icon of American pop culture, recognized worldwide. However, one lesser-known fact about the starlet is that she wasn't particularly religious. One of the most controversial stories from her life comes from the missionary Billy Graham, who reportedly visited her after a performance. Graham tried to share the gospel with Monroe, only to hear her dismissive reply, "I don't need your Jesus." Whether it was coincidence or fate, just 1 week later, Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her apartment at the age of 36. Thomas Andrews was a visionary engineer who played a pivotal role in designing the Titanic, the majestic ocean liner that has become an enduring symbol of both human ambition and tragic overconfidence. The Titanic was hailed as a marvel of modern engineering, its grandeur unmatched and its design reputedly unsinkable. Some accounts claim that Andrews himself made the bold proclamation, "Not even God can sink the Titanic," a statement that would later become infamous. Others, however, attribute this audacious remark to the ship's captain, Edward Smith, who commanded the Titanic during its maiden voyage. Regardless of who uttered the words, they reflected the era's widespread faith in human ingenuity and technological advancement, a faith that was brutally shattered by what came next. The tragic fate of the Titanic unfolded on a cold April night in 1912. During its maiden voyage, the ship struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic, an event that would lead to one of the deadliest maritime disasters in history. The unsinkable ship sank beneath the icy waters, claiming the lives of over 1,500 passengers and crew. While a small number of crew members and passengers managed to survive, both Andrews and Captain Smith were among the many who perished, their names forever tied to the Titanic's heartbreaking legacy. So that's it. Thanks for watching until the end. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.